on, guys? Welcome to the DualShockers ShockCast episode 178, live from Los Angeles in our comfy little hotel here in the Holiday Inn. My name is Tony Polanco, your host with the most, and today it is day. I'm here with Brian Meisler.
Sorry guys, I'm delayed to 2015, so I won't be able to participate on this podcast today.
And today we have two special guests joining us. Our ride, Mr. Chris Seeley.
Very nice to be here.
And Emilio Lopez.
Why, hello there.
All right, guys, so we're here to talk about the conferences of this year's E3. I guess we'll bring up Ubisoft. You know, we didn't get invited to that, but we're going to talk about the ones we went to. So the first one we went to was Microsoft at the Gallon Center. Microsoft, I predicted this shit. These dudes were not fucking around, man. Like, just games. And that's what we saw, and I was pretty happy with it. So let's start off with you, Ryan. What do you think of the conference?
So overall, I think the like a lot of people liked, I think, was the fact that they focused entirely on games. There was no mention of Kinect at all during the entire event. They didn't mention the price drop or anything like that, which I mean, I understand, like, because that's kind of, you know, they already announced that there's really no need to dwell on it, I think. You know, I felt like there weren't really a lot of big, like, reveals or announcements. Like, most of it was pretty much, a lot of it was stuff we've already seen. So it was stuff like Sunset Overdrive, Halo 5, the new Assassin's Creed Unity. So, you know, a lot of things like that. But, you know, I think what they showed was still really cool. Like, in particular, the Assassin's Creed demo I thought was really cool. Sunset Overdrive looks great.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You know, that's probably my favorite of, you know, their upcoming games. So, you know, even though they didn't have a lot of new stuff, I still really liked what they showed. And I think it was probably the coolest presentation, like, out of all of them, just, you know, in terms of the actual show itself. So, yeah, that was kind of my feelings on it.
Yeah, one thing I thought was interesting, you brought this up, too, how you saw a lot of Ubisoft games. There's usually Ubisoft and Sony are buddy-buddy, but this time it was like we saw The Division, we saw Assassin's Creed at Microsoft, out of all places. Mm-hmm. Are they they're gonna have special, like, DLCs and stuff, too, right?
Yeah, I believe, I know The Division, they said that and that was actually another thing, too, about the Microsoft conference, was that they focused a lot on, like, kind of exclusive third-party titles.
Yeah.
So, you know, a good majority of the games they showed have some kind of, like, exclusive DLC that's coming to, you know, that's coming to those games. So, like, The Division, what else? Dragon Age, Inquisition.
Yes, give me that Dragon Age, man.
You know, so a lot of them are going to have exclusive content coming. You know, aside from, you know, they've already done this with Call of Duty for a long time, but now they're really starting, because, you know, compared to Sony, they only have, you know, a handful of exclusive games. You know, they have Halo, Gears, like, things like that. So I think now, you know, they're trying to work toward building more, like, exclusive third-party games, quote-unquote, that they can... that they can add to their lineup, and kind of associate these franchises with Xbox One, which is what they really need going in.
Yeah, exactly. Chris, what do you think, man?
I think Microsoft really did a good job. I think they really had to completely backpedal from last year. Last year was a disaster.
Yeah, you notice how Phil Spencer, I said this in my notes, he's a very humble Spencer.
Humble Spencer, yeah, man. I mean, he came out and said, it's all about you guys, the games, gamers. Yeah, we're thinking about you. Oh, yeah, last year that was the case, right? A different song this year, but I mean, what they showed was pretty impressive, and there was no gimmicks. They didn't say the word Connect at all. They didn't, you know, it wasn't about features. They didn't talk about apps. I didn't hear anything about TV.
Yeah,
they were just like games.
There was one app thing they talked about, which was the Achievements app, where you could see...
That was pretty cool. Actually, that was before the show, though.
The show,
yeah, that was pretty cool.
By the way, I think that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like you could actually take your achievement into, like, YouTube or whatever. No, into Google and find out how to get it and stuff.
It works with snapping, so you can use it, I guess, across, across, like, apps that you're using on Xbox One, which is cool.
That's an app for gamers. It's not like the ESPN app.
Right. It's not the things that they showed last year that a lot of people kind of complained about. Was like, you know, HBO Go and Netflix and, like, all this, you know, extra stuff.
Right. I mean, the only TV thing they mentioned was the Halo live-action series. That's pretty much it. You know, I mean, people got excited for Halo 5.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for that.
The little bit of it that we saw.
Yeah, the team...
Yeah.
But I will probably get the Master Chief Collection, if nothing else, to play the beta.
Yeah, you played all the Halos, right?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy Halo. I think my favorite multiplayer is still Halo Reach.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I enjoyed all of them, and I will definitely probably pick that up just to see Guardians, and then just to check out, like, what they did with Halo 2.
Yeah.
They showed, like, all the enhanced gameplay. Those are some of the best multiplayer levels. Ascension's a great map. They went right for the killer one. This is like everybody's favorite. Look,
Yeah, we got it. We got it, son.
Yeah. So that was cool. But I think they really that's what they needed to do, and they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even though I'm getting kind of tired of, like, even at the Sony conference when they showed, like, Last of Us Remastered and the new versions of GTA 5, like, how we're getting more of these, like, HD remakes and stuff like that. Like, the Halo one I think looks cool because, you are getting, like, all the versions of the previous games, but you're also getting, like, the Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, so you're getting, like, the HD... So you're getting something new within that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good way, like, for Xbox One, for people that want to play Halo 5 but haven't played the series before, that they can jump in and like, play through all the titles at once.
Also,
I'm showing Ryan as himself, me Ryan, kicking ass because he's level 6 now. All right, go ahead, man. What would you think about buying Microsoft?
First, I was going to say, also one really cool thing that they mentioned as part of that Halo thing is that the fact that you can actually mix levels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in other words, you can do, like, your own crazy ass hit playlist. Like 1 minute you're Halo 1 and then you're 2.
Yeah, that is really... You can almost make, like, your own Halo game just, like, of, like, the cool, like, hey, I want to replay that awesome level from Halo 3 and then jump into, like, the Silent Cartographer from Halo 1 or something like that, like, just make, like, the best levels. Or the shittiest ones, So if you want to just do a playlist of the library over and over and over again, I mean, you can do that.
I do hope they add in stuff from Reach. They don't have to, because I understand it's the Master Chief Collection, and it's focused on his games.
And ODST.
I love Firefight on Reach.
Yeah, because I was going to say, too, they don't include Reach or ODST either, so they don't have...
That's probably why they called it the Master Chief
Because it's just like...
I understand that, and it's great, but I mean, Reach had some great maps, so I would like to see that.
I really liked ODST as well. That was like one of my favorite Halo games, too.
It was good.
Yeah.
So, what I thought... Again, I agree with everybody else. I thought it was a really good show. I think they just... No bones, they just went right to it. They just kept on showing stuff. But I noticed something. I think they also kind of took a lot of the stuff that might have slowed things down just a little bit and put them in that little pre-show.
Yeah, I noticed that.
We're sitting there, we're getting announcements even before the actual show started.
Yeah.
With TJ Combo being in Killer Instinct and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing, Chris could also attest to this. It's like they also didn't talk too much about Killer Instinct. They kind of pulled a bait and switch. It's like, hey, you like Killer Instinct, right?
And they even had the graphic on the screen, and I was like, oh, we're going to hear about Season 2. I'm so excited.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw it. I was like, Season 2. So,
and then they just kind of do that, like, hey, you like that, right? And then all of a sudden, hey, here's Phantom Dust, which is kind of a little bit of an obscure game for the original Xbox.
Yeah, I remember they're like, "Oh, this game's coming back," and some people were going crazy. I'm like, "What is that?"
What my initial thought when they showed Conquer before during Project Spark was like, "Oh, I hope it's a new Conquer game. That'd be fantastic."
Again, that's another kind of a weird bait and switch that they did. It's like, hey, you see Conquer, and it's like, "Oh, is this the announcement for the Conquer game?" No, it's not. It's just he pops up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they didn't promise anything for him, so it was a nice little surprise. But seeing TJ Combo pre-show. And I'm like, oh, that's it. They're teasing Season 2, man. We're going to see. And then I'm like, okay, at the end of his video, you see, like, fire behind him. I'm like, oh, that's Cinder, right? So you're going to tell us Cinder's in the game, right? Oh, no, Phantom Dust.
It was a tease,
Yeah, I'm sure they'll probably release more once it comes. Because the Season 2 starts in the fall, I think, this year. It's like fall 2014. So I'm sure once we get closer, we'll probably see more.
I'm not knocking Phantom Dust. I'm sure. I don't know. That scene was epic. I don't know what it's about, but I'm a Killer Instinct guy. I wanted to see some of that.
Phantom Dust, for a second, I thought the Phantom Dust trailer was also going to be Perfect Dark. Just for a second, because I was like...
That's what I thought, too. And then that's like the guy with the hood came out. Wait, they don't have superpowers in that game.
That's what I thought, but I was like, wait a minute, that's a dude. That's not Joanna. That's not Joanna. That's not Joanna Dark.
Dark has been updated to be a dude.
It's actually her brother, Joseph Dark.
Yeah, Joseph Dark. Joseph Dark, yeah.
This is her brother. Yeah. I totally was like, this was cool. The other thing was like, there wasn't really anything too ground shaking.
Yeah, no, there wasn't.
But it was consistent, and that's what I liked about it. That it just moved, and it gave you the information you needed, and it got you excited as to what was going to be coming for the console.
Yeah, nothing dragged.
Yeah, nothing really dragged.
But yeah, for me, man. But my highlight was probably there was a couple. I liked what I saw in the Division. It was more actiony and stuff. And I like some of the things like the guy was standing behind a car for cover, and you see the bullets like coming through the window and stuff, like on like a sideways trajectory and stuff.
I am really excited for the Division. I love those games. I love Rainbow Six too, and when we get to that. It's like Patriots turn out to be mad, but Siege is like, oh!
Yeah, it really does. Feel like the new Watch Dogs to me. It's kind of like the game that everyone's like, oh my god, this is next gen, that kind of thing.
And then hopefully we're not the same thing that doesn't happen
to Watch Dogs.
Yeah, because
all that Watch Dogs has done has kind of make you question what Ubisoft puts out now.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, you look at the Division now, like we saw, it's like that looks cool. Now after Watch Dogs, you're like, is that game going to look like that? Is it going to be like that when you actually get it?
Well, I questioned Unity. Even Assassin's Creed, I was questioning, like, okay, that looks cool. He dove down in the crowd, and it's like huge draw distance and all this stuff. But I'm like, okay, when he was walking around, it was a bit janky. You saw he was popping and doing all sorts of weird stuff, and I realized it's an early beta, alpha, whatever.
Dude, I was impressed by that crowd, man. That looked dense.
The crowd was good, but it didn't flow well. He didn't walk right, and then some of the combat was a little janky. But I could chalk it up to like it's early footage.
The Assassin's Creed thing to me also looked like it looks like you're playing all three versions of Ezio. It's like bearded Ezio, normal Ezio, and then Altair. That's what it just looks like to me.
I want to know, is that like for the single player or like is that multiplayer mode, that Unity stuff?
Yeah,
that was the.
I thought it was campaign.
Yeah, I believe
it was campaign.
Yeah,
right?
I thought
it
was.
I think that's just the part of me. It's like I hope that's not the campaign.
It might be something like because doesn't like Watch Dogs like you could have players like join the game like as you're playing or something like that. So I think it might be something or like the Division or like you could have. So I think it might be kind of like a blend of like single player but also bringing in that kind of co-op multiplayer like seamlessly between the two.
Well, Ubisoft is working hard, but their theme this time seems to be co-op. Look at what we saw with Far Cry 4.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the big thing was like Far Cry 4. Your buddy doesn't even need a copy of the game, which was like
that's insane.
I don't know if that was a PS4 thing or
I don't know. Yeah, because we could talk about the war elephants later.
War elephants.
Come on, man, that's a highlight right there. They got war elephants in his bitch.
That's next gen right there.
Yeah,
war
exactly.
Elephants.
And see, Dragon Age, me, man. I love me some Dragon Age, so that was cool. I like all that epic music they had. And at the EA one, they actually had like a
cellist come out. Yeah,
that was pretty cool. What else did Microsoft have that I thought was big? I think that was pretty much it. But yeah, you're right. It was
I saw Sunset Overdrive.
Let's talk about that. That was a lot of fun.
I think out of everything they had, that's the thing I'm most looking forward to. I mean, it's also like the thing that that we know is coming out this year. So
it's kind of funny about that one. It just looks like a Tony Hawk game that's been made into a shooter.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Jet Riding Radio.
Yeah, it's like Jet Riding Radio or Tony Hawk, where it's like
I have a feeling. To me, it feels kind of like a mix of like Dead Rising and like Jet Set Radio or like something, like something like that, where it has the typical kind of shootery like open world thing, but it also has like it's a lot. It just seems like a lot of fun.
You notice the guy had kind of infamous powers, like he was like zapping to grind on wires and stuff. I'm like, okay, does he have some sort of superpowers? I wasn't really sure because he was like leaping really high, magnetizing to things and grinding on them. And
what kind of game is that going to be? Is it just like just a bunch of madness? I don't know.
I guess it's just going to be chaotic and
that's a genre now.
It's funny because it's definitely that feels more like an Insomniac game
than Fuse
did.
Yeah.
Or officially what it turned into, what Fuse turned into,
Yeah, because Fuse had that Sunset Overdrive feel to it when it originally was announced.
Yeah.
That kind of fun, like kind of atmosphere to it. Then you get the actual game. It's like, where's the fun? So So hopefully this one will do that. It's interesting how that's actually an exclusive to Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing out that money, son.
Well, no, I mean, also, aren't they doing it through EA? It's like the EA Players thing, or is that?
Is it? Is that how they're doing it?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Oh, so
Sunset Overdrive is Insomniac.
Yeah, it's just Insomniac. Yeah.
And usually Insomniac developed for Sony with like Ratchet and Clank and like all those games. So
if anything, they would just go through Microsoft Studios. So
yeah.
So they don't need EA. No Origin here.
Yeah, no Origin here.
Yeah.
Anything else about Microsoft before we move on to EA?
Well, I like driving, so I like the look of Forza Horizon.
Oh yeah, Forza. We saw that badass car outside the Gallon Center.
A
Lambo, son.
We took a couple of photos of that one.
Yeah,
I do enjoy it. I played a little bit of Motorsport 5. I do like the fact that it's at least getting some free cars. Horizon 2 I'll definitely check out. I do like my driving games, so...
So, are they releasing one every...
You mean a Forza game?
Oh, wait, no, that was... Yeah, that was the...
Well, Horizon's like a offshoot.
It's like a spin-off series?
Yeah, it's not Forza 6.
Oh, okay.
It's not Forza Motorsport. It's a different,
I think Horizon just had more fun... Like Motorsport is serious.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like the Burnout Paradise to like the Burnout, like that kind of thing where it's like more of an offshoot
I don't think
sort of.
anything will be Burnout Paradise.
All right, so EA, that was the next one we went to. That one was like EA the documentary. It's like everything was a documentary, man.
Well, even when they said they got the NFL Films people to do,
is that what it was?
Yes, that's why it sounded like that. It's like cold day in November when this game, the Giants versus. I was like, oh, there's NFL Films right there. It's a documentary. And I don't know, the EA Sports stuff I kind of tuned out. The most exciting thing they had was like Bruce Lee's going to be in UFC, and I'm like, ooh,
that was cool. Yeah,
that's the only time I perked up. I was like, I like Bruce Lee. Okay, that's neat. And then everything else was like, oh, NHL really.
Oh, you don't care about PGA golf, man.
Oh yeah, there's like golf. Like, oh really? What did you do? You made the grass.
I noticed that the crowd kind of started clapping a lot for that. I'm like, PGA, really?
I don't know. I think there's some plants in there, but
there's a plant.
There's a plant in there.
Yeah,
filled the crowd with
honestly, to be excited of all things for PGA golf. When there was a teaser stuff for Mass Effect before all that stuff, and that's all I could think about. Yeah. After that was like they were like, okay, we have BioWare's a new IP and Mass Effect, and it showed Contact. They showed all this conceptual footage and all this stuff, and they played that music. Yeah, that music that is burned in my brain forever from scanning planets in Mass Effect 2 is like playing, and all I could think about after that is like, I don't care about FIFA. Yeah, I'm sorry. You talked about Mass Effect,
and that's the way they did things. Like, this is not just a sport; it's a lifestyle. And they show like all these this the moment when you wait for the ball to go into the net, and then when it does go into the net, they go crazy. Yeah. Like, dude, you're making soccer seem bigger than it actually is.
I think EA had some good stuff, but the pacing of their conference was off because they started with DICE, right, and Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they started with Battlefront.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kicked it off
and
well,
then they went to Dragon Age. Was that when the Chalice came out?
I think around then.
And then they showed.
Yeah, I remember at that point I was ready to explode. I'm like, I can't handle all this goodness, and all of a sudden,
I'm like, if you're sports, and then it just bottomed out with. And I know a lot of people like EA Sports. You're gonna buy Madden and stuff no matter what. They could just put the logo on the screen. No, I mean for those guys, if you love those franchises, you're gonna buy them. They don't need to have the hooligan mode where you're flipping buses after the soccer game. The team you like doesn't win. I don't know what else they could add to it.
If they're trying to add that in there, that might be kind of interesting.
I would say I would probably buy it for that. So,
if the goalie misses the ball, he gets shot by one of the audience members.
Yeah. If there's if there's a soccer riot, that would be
big
great.
Old soccer riot after the whole thing.
But so that's your thing. But all the other stuff, Dragon Age, hinting at Mass Effect, kind of to talk about going to new worlds, different parts of the galaxy. I'm ready for that. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. That I'm excited about. And it was neat when they ended with Battlefield Hardline and they drew the curtain and I just happened to be standing next to the curtain. So I kind of fell onto a station. I'm like, ooh, I'm playing Battlefield.
Yeah. The funny thing is that we got in a little late because we were waiting for the car from the Microsoft thing. It was
called that one.
That was a clusterfuck.
Oh, no.
Right there. Anyway, we get over there. There's absolutely no seats. We're like kind of walk. We had to literally walk all the way around the whole thing.
Walk around the top and then go down these weird stairs and then come through the curtain and then come. And we were next to the curtain, just standing there to watch everything.
Yeah.
So, okay, that explains a lot because Ryan was. I was like, "Where's Manny and Chris?" And he was like, "They're playing demo." I'm like, Why would they be playing that? I guess you played it because it was literally
right there.
Yeah. The guy goes
fell into it.
They show the thing on the screen, and then we turn around and go.
I hear something. I heard something moving. I was like, "Oh shit!" No, I thought it was gonna be like a dragon or something like that from Dragon Age. They're gonna pull it back, and then some like huge thing. I was like, "Oh shit!" I like moved out of the way to try and like.
No, I was that curtain open and there's stations, and then there was this other guy. Me, we were bloof.
Yeah,
we're playing Battlefield.
And it was funny seeing all the press just like sprinting to try and get to those stations. Yeah. It was like a rush.
It was a mad rush.
It was a. Oh yeah.
What do you guys think of that anyway?
What
the game?
The game?
Yeah.
I enjoy. I like Battlefield, so I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, this feels like Battlefield, and it was smooth. Like the frame rate was smooth, and they showed it. Those were all PS4 demo stations, and
nice.
I mean, for an alpha or whatever version they had running,
alpha.
You know, I think it's kind of funny. I was kind of commenting that somehow this new Battlefield, which hasn't come out yet, has heist in it, and GTA 5 still doesn't have heist.
That's hilarious.
I was like, this is Cops and Robbers Battlefield. They're going out of their element to make Cops and Robbers, and GTA 5 promised that, and it's still GTA Online doesn't have it.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like laughing that I was actually playing a heist thing. Like, oh, stop them from getting this thing, and you're running after them.
And then with that game, like I was looking at it, because dude, there's a lot of environmental like destruction. Like you saw the facades of buildings being destroyed by the cranes and stuff. I'm like, that's not coming. I'm like, that's not coming to fucking current gen, man. No way, because there's that one point the dude was like underground, right? And he blows a pillar, the whole street comes down.
Yeah.
You know?
That was cool, when they were like the enemies that were on the ground, so the guy just blew up the pillars so that way they fell on the enemies. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's like, that's pretty cool. At first when they made the announcement, I think it was last week or we have, I'm like, that sounds like a stupid idea to make this like a urban kind of like a war thing. Then I looked at it, I'm like, that's actually pretty cool.
It looks cool,
especially like the demos we could only play as cops. I don't know if other stations were set up where you could be the crooks. There had to be. So I got a cop one. And you start in this thing, we're all running around. We're all kind of lost. That's the thing. The level is so huge. I kind of was like, I'll be smart and take this shortcut to the mall and go here. And I got totally lost. I'm like, I am not near the fight at all. And then I ran around and I found the guy. I'm like, yeah. So that was that was neat. I got excited when I was playing it. I'm definitely I definitely get that game when it comes out. As long as I think Visceral.
As long as it works.
We'll do good. Yeah, as long as they don't rush them, man. I think DICE can do it really well, because I was a huge fan of Battlefield 3, and it didn't have nearly the problems that Battlefield 4 did.
That's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, so, and I guess now DICE switched gears because they're working on Battlefront, Star Wars, so they're not working on this, so it's the Dead Space guys.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But the thing is, since it is the Visceral guys, I think they may actually do something really interesting with the story.
Man, I got a little mad though. They showed the Ishimura in the beginning of that trailer. I'm like, man,
like I
where's Dead Space?
Yeah, where's Dead Space?
I'm okay with them giving a break on Dead Space after 3 because I didn't really like 3 that much, but
I like 3.
I'm okay with them giving it a little break.
I wanted to do some more co-op, man.
Yeah. I want to talk about speeder bikes now. Star Wars.
So I was gonna say I guess leading into that. So like overall with the E3, the EA conference, I kind of like their approach with the documentary, going a little bit more behind the scenes, like doing more of that behind the scenes, kind of like showing the games in development, because obviously like most of the games that they showed are at least a year or 2 away. Like most of them are not coming out this year, aside from like Battlefield and the sports games and the Sims and stuff like that. Like Battlefront, like all the new Criterion thing, they're like 2 years away probably at least. So, I think that was cool, but again, I think that was my big problem, was that, like, a lot of the stuff they showed was, like, super early. Like, they probably shouldn't have even shown it how early it was. Like, the Criterion thing was, like, it was, like, prototype, like, like, wireframes and stuff like that.
They were really, like...
That was stuff they probably did, like, 2 weeks ago, and they just wanted to show it, like, to see, hey, we're working on this. So
the conceptual footage for Contact looked more finished than... Criterion stuff was like, wow, these are early frames.
And even like stuff like Battlefield, Battlefront, that's still really early, because I mean they said see more spring 2015, which means that we're not getting it next year. It's going to be like we're going to see more of it next year, probably E3. But
an announcement of an announcement.
Yeah, but the footage they showed looked amazing, like the environments and all that stuff. They showed
they really spent a lot of time on
the speeder.
They were really proud of that.
Like the speeder bike looked fantastic. Like it looked great.
Yeah, and even like the forest. that he was in. I was like, whoa, that's
all I can think of when I see those speeder bikes is like even when I was a little kid and I saw the movie, it was like if I drove one of those things, I would be slamming into those trees like those guys. I would be that guy who just slammed.
How do you train for a speeder bike?
I use the force, man. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess all stormtroopers have force.
No, they were the ones hitting the trees. They were just getting lucky until they hit one.
Yeah, I remember seeing something like it's like the science behind Star Wars or something. Yeah. It said if anybody traveling at that speed would instantly be killed the instant they hit a tree. They don't even have to hit it like right.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, because they're going
just a little brush, like.
Yeah, you would just explode.
But it doesn't matter because movies and video games in this case.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to try to do though? I'm going to see how far I can lift that thing up. See if I can fly up to the top of the trees with a speeder bike.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there better be some stunts in there.
Yeah.
Because essentially, it's essentially a rocket with the controls on it.
Yeah, pretty much, kind of like the racing pods were in a weird way.
The pod racers. Yeah.
But going back to like even the sports thing, like I'm not a big sport. I don't really play sports games that much. But like I thought the stuff they did show was kind of cool. Like the Bruce Lee thing, I thought was really cool.
Be like water, right?
And like the PGA Tour thing actually like kind of took me out. Like when they showed like the fantasy courses, so you could do like the bet. They showed the
what the fuck was that?
Golfing on a like exploding battleship.
Yeah, it was like, yo, it's a nice day. Let me there's a war going on. I gotta golf.
Yeah, that was very peculiar. I'm like, this is like golfing in hell. This is like, because I'm like, golf requires so much silence and everything, and yet EA thought it'd be a nice twist to put you in the middle of a war.
But I thought it was cool. It was something. It's like because I've never really played a PGA game, but even I was kind of like, that's kind of cool. Like,
that reminded me of this. This is such an obscure game, but for 3DO there was a game called Wicked 13, which was a golf game that took place in hell.
That game sounds familiar.
Okay, I didn't even know there was
and all the traps and stuff were all like a lava pit.
Yeah,
and, stuff like that.
But yeah, I saw that because I think I wasn't paying too much attention because it was golf. I'm just be honest, I just didn't care. And I turned around, I'm like, wait.
There's a battleship behind them. Up, and he's just like.
So you get to have Tiger Woods. Oh yeah, that's.
Tiger Woods.
What else is it? Is like a dragon.
Yeah, I was like,
they're gonna cross over.
Oh man, he's gonna be what? He could be on
the Reaper is gonna crash into the golf course.
They're gonna cross over with the other franchises. So like the Reapers will drop down from Mass Effect, and you have to get a hole-in-one past them to like.
That'd be hilarious. It's like, all right, Sovereign, I'm gonna put this ball right through you.
Yeah.
And then like the Dragon Age Inquisition characters will come out and like Inquisition you as you play. That'd be great.
Inquisition you.
But yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, and then the other stuff they showed at the EA conference was like The Sims, which
does anybody care about that?
I like the one thing about the Sims games. I haven't played a Sims game in forever, but one thing about the new ones is animation. I really like the animations to those characters.
Yeah, they're always fun. Even if you just fuck around and kill them or do. As long as they keep that silliness in there, it's like I'm gonna block off this room, so you're gonna die.
Yeah, I did think the Obama sim was pretty funny.
The Obama sim,
they threw that in there. That was.
I think the one problem with that section is that she had to go through all this process of setting up a situation.
Yeah,
I felt like that was also boring.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It was like, oh, and I made this character Barry, and he likes to work out, and he met this girl, and they fight, and it's like,
I think she had to explain their AI process.
Yeah,
right. There was no other way to do it unless you watched her play, and that would be more boring.
Yeah, because they were talking about, our characters have emotion now. I'm like, okay.
Like he was all mad, and he was like pumping iron.
I'm mad, so I'm gonna do weights.
Yeah, because this old woman beat him up.
Yeah,
because he felt emasculated. I wasn't sure because I was like, is he mad about the poetry or that an old woman beat his ass?
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
I guess I zoned out.
And then he dies at the end of that.
Yeah, I was like, that's a little bleak. I know that they died
to death. I'm like, what? Okay, sucks for Barry, man.
Rest in peace, Barry, man.
Rest in peace, Barry.
Right?
Sucks to be him.
Sucks to be Barry.
Yeah, and then...
anything else we want to talk about?
Yeah, Mirror's Edge, man.
Mirror's Edge, yeah. Again, I think it's another case where, like, because, most of what they were showing is, like, really early stuff. Mm-hmm. But having Mirror's Edge there, again, was really cool. I was looking forward to seeing it, and we got to see, like, some aside from like what did we get to see last year? Just like concept footage or like some like
I think we just saw a logo.
They just said Mirror's Edge 2. 2 was coming.
It exists.
It exists.
But getting to see got me. Getting to actually see a little bit of it was really exciting. That game always has like Mirror's Edge 2 has always just made me like question because like I feel like no one really cared that much about the first game, and then all of a sudden,
except
like right, and then
and
then Mirror's Edge 2, everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's coming out!" I
think that game was a little bit of a slow burn. I think
Yeah.
people needed initially got okay ratings and stuff like that, but I think once people got to play it, it's like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's one of those like kind of cult following, like smaller,
Yeah,
like really
definitely.
devoted, like smaller fan base.
Or maybe that's what it is. Like people just got like, their hands on the first game. However you get your hands on games nowadays, and they're like, "This is cool. I want to play the second one."
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened.
I mean, the music and I really enjoy the music in that game.
It was. I think even
it's a slick game, and I think there's just some things about the original one that they needed to fix. Like, it was a lot of the combat stuff that kind of just didn't work so well.
I have to pull us back a second. There's one thing from Microsoft we forgot to talk about.
Oh, what's up?
Crackdown.
Oh yeah, we did forget to talk about Crackdown.
Do we want to finish? Let's finish EA first, and then we'll go back to that.
All right.
Splice it in.
What else is there to say about EA? Mirror's Edge is coming.
Yeah, that's about it. So
yeah,
I mean, it was good to see it. I mean that
was a lot of early stuff. Too,
for some reason, I always considered that the Sony game.
Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Because it kind of has that minimalist design that was kind of found in a lot of Sony games. Like Sony games from PS3 era, where everything's kind of like flat blocks and it's a very white city and stuff like that.
Or like Chrome and stuff.
Yeah, you just think of that sort of stuff, but it's or a Ubisoft game.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It's like a Ubisoft game made by EA.
Yeah.
Or like it reminds me a lot of Portal, like the art direction is very similar to Portal.
And the striking colors, like everything is like white slate except the important stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I like the EA stuff I could have done without the sports, but they needed to do it. But yeah, I liked it overall. Dragon Age.
That was a showstopper.
Mass Effect.
Dude, I was like, I'm ready to go back to New York now. I saw what I needed to see.
Yep.
But yeah, let's go back to Crackdown because that was a big one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that closed the Microsoft conference was Crackdown. I can't believe we kind of
Crackdown, not 3.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest new thing that they showed. Aside from Phantom Dust and like all that. And,
new.
I think like people were excited. Like there was some some good applause like when they showed it.
Well, they knew like a lot of people were already familiar with the game as soon as they saw the
logo.
character.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't even see it because the logo didn't show up.
No, but I mean like they had that ship that passed by that had the Crackdown logo, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, Crackdown. Yeah. We knew what it was.
It was it was a CG trailer. I feel like it might be a remake of the original.
The thing was they just called it Crackdown, so they didn't explicitly say like it's Crackdown 3 or that it's a reboot. Then we actually Tony and I kind of bumped into some people from Microsoft, and they said the same thing, that they're not officially confirming it yet as Crackdown 3 or a reboot.
Yeah, that was pretty funny because I asked the ladies like, is that Crackdown? Like, was that Crackdown 3? Like, it's just Crackdown. Like, it's a remake. It's just Crackdown. And then lady next to her was like, it's coming in 2015. She's like, no, it's coming. Eventually. Like, okay.
Yeah, so I think it's just kind of more of an announcement to confirm it exists. And
that's what it is.
I feel like
they will be making it.
I feel like, well, I mean, didn't they do the same thing with Uncharted for PS4 last year?
Yes,
where it was kind of like, they basically just said, yes, there will be new Uncharted for PS4. And that's basically...
But it's weird because they printed swag for Crackdown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the show, it's like, have this shirt. And I thought it was an Xbox shirt or Microsoft shirt. It's had Crackdown on it.
Yeah.
But I think, I'm assuming that's probably like... At the earliest, it would come out next year, and then like I'd probably say it's probably going to be more of like a 2016 game.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know that game got big because of Halo, though, right? Because of the demo.
Well, yeah, it was the first one came out with the Halo 3 beta. So when you bought the game, you got beta access, or as a lot of my friends said, it was a copy of the Halo 3 beta with a free game. Basically, was what they said. But the first game I thought was actually pretty fun. Like it was a fun. I mean, like playing it now, I think is a little rough. And then I didn't play Crackdown. I played a little bit of Crackdown 2 at PAX East one year.
Okay.
But I know Crackdown 2 wasn't received very well. So I think this is kind of their shot to if they're going
if they're
going to reboot it, it's probably a chance for them to fix kind of like what Crackdown 2 might have missed out on. But I thought the trailer looked cool. I think it was a nice trailer.
It was a nice trailer, and it was colorful. It wasn't brown.
Yep.
I think we're done with Brown, man.
Brown is not in anymore.
Brown is not in anymore. Sunset Overdrive and Crackdown are kind of killing that.
Man, those vivid colors, man. Sunset Overdrive was like my eyes.
Yeah, it's very colorful.
I did like all the explosions and things had like words in them. Like
when
you blow up something, it says boom and
boom,
smoke.
and it was
very
comic booky. So we're done with Crackdown? Anything else?
Yeah, I think we're done with Crackdown.
I think that closed the show. And,
cool. Let's. We just. So now Sony.
Sony. Like I said, technically it should have been Ubisoft, but we didn't go. So
we could just talk briefly about Ubisoft. So I know the things that they announced for. So we'll go into Ubisoft. It's fine. So I know at Ubisoft we kind of saw a lot of the usual suspects. So we saw Assassin's Creed Unity. They showed more of that. They showed more of Far Cry 4, which also popped up at the Sony conference.
Oh yeah.
What else? New Just Dance coming out later this year with Just Dance 2015, I believe it's called, and it's gonna have some like Pharrell Williams tracks and things like that. What else? Oh, and so the big thing that they showed at the Ubisoft conference was Rainbow Six Siege. So it's a new Rainbow Six coming out, I believe, next year. Which I heard from the demo impressions sounded pretty dope. Like, I guess, kind of Battlefield-y. Like, there's some, like, destruction and
whatever
all that
I read
stuff.
on the live blogs and stuff, I'm like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to give that shit to me.
Everyone seemed pretty hyped, especially because it's been a while since
give me now.
Give me now. Give me Division now so I can wait for that shit.
Yeah. It's, because it's been a while since the last Rainbow. Like, what was the last... was
Vegas 2?
Was Vegas 2 the last one to come out? Which was like...
Years ago.
That was, I mean, it's at least probably 5 or 6 years, so it's been a while.
That's why I was waiting for Patriots. I was like, well, guys. Patriots may not live up to all the expectations in my brain.
Yeah. I know they also devoted a lot of time to Shape Up. They should have these like exercise games, things like that, which I know they kind of took up a lot of time. I feel like a lot of people probably were not very pleased with that.
Yo, man, you gotta get yourself in shape.
Well, I think they said it was very awkward with some guy coming up and doing.
They did a push-up contest on stage, which kind of got awkward.
Yeah,
so
they should have got hip hop Gaber in there.
He'd be like, "Yo, son,
I got push-up, son."
Yeah. Anything else you guys know from Ubisoft you want to add? Or?
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
I mean, I want to talk about the Far Cry book.
Yeah, we'll talk about Far Cry. Sony obviously was the big guy coming in this year. They're like so dominant now.
Yeah, I think out of all the conferences, Sony's felt the most substantial. Like there was the most amount of stuff that was announced there.
But even before that, before we even got in there, that's when everybody was anticipating.
Yeah. I mean, it was the biggest conference. There was the most stuff that was there. So and it was probably the longest out of all of them.
Yeah, and out of them, I still think they had the most, because the opposite of Microsoft. Microsoft was consistent the entire time. Sony's was the best, but it had that middle that was boring.
Yeah,
when these dudes started talking about numbers, I'm like, come on, man.
Sony's conference was kind of split into like 3 sections, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it was a little uneven. So basically, the first part of the conference, they talked about mostly showing a couple like new games. So they showed
with Destiny.
So they started off with Destiny, and they showed off some gameplay, and it's probably the most like gameplay stuff I've seen of the game so far. But otherwise, it's just been like teasers and like really quick TV spots and things like that.
Yeah, this one it was funny with that intro because they were like we went to Mars and we discovered something that changed our entire civilization. I'm like, is this Mass Effect? I knew it was Destiny. I'm like, that's how Mass Effect starts. Like they find the thing and so. But they went deep into the lore of it, how humans, they went to the golden age after they found all this technology, but they knew some bad stuff was happening. The bad stuff does happen, and then you get to play a game about it.
Yeah. So the first section kind of had a mix of, like, most of their new game reveals were at the first, the first section, but they also had a couple things that we've already seen in there. They had a really cool demo for The Order, 1886 that they showed. And
oh my god, I was like, give me that game right now.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. That guy was creeping around. I gotta explain this. This guy was creeping around, and he saw a dude eating another dude, and all I could think of was original Resident Evil. I'm like, oh shit, it's like when you find a zombie.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Only this fucking zombie got up and hulked out and went after him.
Yes.
And it was so awesome. He's like... shooting while walking backwards. He dives out a window. He stimps himself. He hides in a corner. He has all these cool guns that look like steampunk. I was like, I was excited. I was like, I don't care what anybody says. that shit looked
the
dope.
the one thing about the Division, it has this really
the Order. You mean?
I mean, the Order. The Division.
Like, yo, man, we talk about the Division here.
No, man. The one thing about the Division and the Order, the Order. That it has this. It almost looks a lot like CG, and we haven't seen games getting that close.
Yeah, that's like the most graphically impressive game I've seen.
Very, very like a lot of the shadows, a lot of the atmospherics and stuff. It just feels like it might be. It feels like you're playing a movie.
Did you notice that game had really good transitions between the cutscenes and the actual gameplay?
Stuff? Yeah. Because when he was walking backwards, and it was like because the HUD came up, and there was obviously somebody playing, and then the thing grabbed them, and it went back to a scripted scene and threw him through a window. I was like, wow, that was really impressive.
Yeah, it looked really good. My only worry about the game is that it's gonna be like, because I felt like the demo was probably like 5 to 10 minutes, probably around there, like maybe a little less. So like I think if it was 5 minutes, I felt like we watched 4 minutes and played like 1 minute or 30 seconds of it. It was I felt like it was a lot more watching it being played.
Well, that might have been the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's probably an early part of the game, but I don't know. Like I just hope it doesn't have like a Metal Gear syndrome where you end up like watching it more than you actually end up playing it. But
wait, Metal Gear. It's funny because people keep talking about how Metal Gear is like the standard for that. I think Asura's Wrath should be the standard for that. That is like 90%, cinemas, But yeah, you're right about that. But I'm still impressed, man. I saw those graphics. I'm like, that's the kind of shit I want to see in the next gen.
Yeah,
and I think the fact that game was 30 frames a second actually helps it look more cinematic.
Yeah, no. I generally don't really like 60 FPS as much as 30. Just because I like that more kind of filmy, like cinematic.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I know, Manny, you are too.
Yeah, it always looks like a like.
It looks weird when it's in 60.
Like video,
right?
Like you're watching an old video.
Yeah,
we just lost like 2 listeners right now. They don't like 60 frames. I'm not listening to this.
No,
shit.
I mean, listen. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
if it's
matter.
60 frames or 20. Was it 24 frames a second, which is like film?
Which
is that's film.
It doesn't. That thing doesn't matter. You know what matters is if the frame rate is consistent.
Yes.
That is what matters.
Yeah. I want a locked something frames a second.
Yeah, it's like some games are like, it's 60 frames per second, and then it drops down to 30 sometimes when there's more things to draw in the distance.
No, but I did like it in Battlefield though. Battlefield's running at 60 frames a second, and I did think it looked really good.
But going back to the Order, I just thought because I didn't really know, I only knew a little bit about the Order. I hadn't really seen much of it, or so I when I heard people talking about the game and being like, "Oh, this is going to be next gen. This is it right here. This is the game," and I was like, "What's the big deal? I don't really see it. It just looks like another third." But when I saw it, the demo, I was really impressed by it. I thought it looked really great. Even though we know it's not coming out till next year, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, I find it funny that people are complaining about that. It got delayed. I'm like, who told you it was coming out this year? No one who was expecting it to come out this year. I wasn't. Not a game that looks like that.
Yeah, but anyway, so they had they showed the Order. A couple of the other new games they revealed. Dead Island 2, which they didn't show any.
That had a great trailer.
They didn't show any gameplay. They just showed a trailer, but the trailer was really funny. It was a really good trailer. I think probably the new trailer probably gives a better idea what the game is going to be like rather than the trailer for the first one. Which, I was going to say. So I think this will probably give a better idea of what the game will actually be like. Which was this one was really funny and kind of more what else did they show? Oh, they revealed Suda51's new game, Let It Die, which they kind of mixed. It was like a little bit of a live action trailer, but they also showed some gameplay in there.
Yeah, the problem is it's a Suda51 game. His games are always hit and miss.
There's
always something off about those games.
The only one I think I played was Killer 7, but I didn't play any of his others. But this one actually looks kind of interesting. The premise seems like
No More Heroes.
Yeah.
No More Heroes. I like that.
Yeah.
That was a zany game.
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
His games are always a little out there, but I think the concept looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also saw Bloodborne, which was previously Project Beast.
Yeah, Project Beast. Everything's a Project something now.
Yeah, which was the game from Software. Which I know, I've never played Dark Souls or Demon Souls or anything like that, but I know I'm sure that
save yourself the pain.
That had
Chris was really excited.
Oh,
about
Bloodborne.
I was just you want
my head went.
Your head exploded.
You want to talk about Bloodborne for a little bit?
Yeah, go for
it. I've been ever since I saw the Project Beast leak and those images. I've been excited because I love Demon Souls, Dark Souls. I was a little disappointed with Dark Souls 2, but I still played the fuck out of it, and I still liked it. I was excited for the next thing. So the fact that From's coming back, and I didn't see Bandai or Namco's name anywhere near this shit. It's just a partnership with Sony.
Yeah.
I think this shit is going to be off the hook. I think this is going to be the game I want. I think this is going to be the successor to Demon's Souls that I wanted.
Ah, yeah.
That's what I'm excited for. And it looks brutal and dark. And I know it's just a CG cutscene. You know, everybody say, calm down. It's a CG cutscene. Yes, all right, I'll calm down. But there's things about it that already are starting out that I think are really good.
That looks cool with me, man. We didn't talk about the fact that a lot of these games, the way they were presented, it was like fan letters. You know, that are really fun.
Well, that was that one section of
that was so the beginning section. They presented it as if they got this like series of fan letters that were really funny. They had these graphics on the TV screens that had like all these like different references to PlayStation things. I thought it was really funny, and it was a good way to kind of tie the announcements together because there was like that's how they showed Dead Island. They also got into the Grim Fandango remake.
Yeah.
That was great, yeah.
Which was probably the fun, like next to maybe the Magica 2 trailer was probably the funniest moment I thought of the entire.
Yeah, because it was like they got this letter from a little girl. She's like, "Hi, I'm blah blah blah. I'm 12 years old," and then she goes talk about how she loves Tim Schafer and all his games, and
then it pans out and it's Tim Schafer holding.
Yeah, no, and then the letter ends at like I'm Tammy and I'm 10. It's like, wait. Weren't you 12 at the beginning of this letter? And then it's like, wait, what's that knuckle? There's a hairy knuckle there, and it pans out.
It was really funny. Yeah, it was great. What else did they show during that first part of the presentation? Oh, they also showed they had because Sony,
right?
Yeah, so they showed a lot of indie games. Specifically, Sony's partnering with Devolver Digital. Show a lot of indie games.
Broforce.
Yeah, so I think
Broshita.
So it showed again how Sony's kind of focusing a lot of attention on indies and giving them support. So they showed Broforce, they showed Hotline Miami 2 Wrong Number, they showed a whole bunch of other indie games. They also showed Abzu, which is coming from the guys who made Journey, a bunch of developers from there.
Mm-hmm.
Or as a lot of people said, Journey Underwater. Basically, it was like
how it looks. It's got it has that Tundoon sound to it. You know?
Yeah. I thought it looks cool though. They also showed Entwined, which is another.
Yes.
They showed
Entwined,
another indie game,
man.
which actually is out now. They released it after the press conference last night.
Yeah, that's something you mentioned earlier. Like, you're saying that a lot of the conferences did that. Like, hey, get it now.
That's been a trend. I think this was like the kind of pulling an Apple and being like, it's available now, or it's like it's going to be available in like a week or two. Because like EA did that with the Battlefield Hardline beta, and then crashed PSN pretty much that moment.
He crashed.
And then and then
got it now.
And then Sony did that with Entwined by releasing it pretty much that moment, which was cool. So I guess moving past that first section, we got into the second section, which was kind of more business.
We forgot Little Big Planet 3.
Oh yeah, that was the other big surprise reveal. Kind of just like out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just like shows up.
It didn't get any fanfare or anything.
I think it was right after. It was after one of the trailers they had shown, where all of a sudden they just opened, and all of a sudden it was on Little Big Planet 3.
But the thing is that people were like, I think Little Big Planet is at this point. You don't need anybody to. Hey, we got this coming along, which is Little Big Planet 3, and then they come out.
Right.
Now they just went.
They just opened it up, and it was Little Big Planet 3. So that was cool.
That was cool. They had
I think
that wasn't Media Molecule.
No, it's I don't remember the developer offhand.
I think it's the same guys who made the PlayStation,
the Vita version,
PSP, and the Vita.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I thought that it looked really cool. I liked, and then also the fact that it's going to include all the you'll be able to play levels from the previous two Little Big Planet games as well from the first two. I thought they spent a little bit too much time on the demo, but
it got kind of boring.
It got to a point because
they died a lot during the demo and stuff. But it was
that's kind of part of Little Big Planet.
Just
you dying and doing everything. I feel like the only thing about the new characters. I think the bird one is probably the one that breaks the game the most.
Yeah, I was going to say,
because
it's probably going to break the game.
It's like, okay, so what does the bird guy got to do? Oh, he can just go pick up everybody now.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you even need the platform?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure.
Why is Grimace in that game?
He's just not purple.
Yeah, exactly. That's Mexican grimace.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I had a feeling like, oh, the bird's probably going to break the game, but I'm sure we'll probably see some kind of solution to that, whether it's from the Little Big Planet devs or from.
There's an invisible electric cloud that just shows up.
Oh yeah,
just gets by lightning.
Yeah, like in the original Little Big Planet, they had those electrical fields that were everywhere, so you couldn't go there.
Yeah, and then so we also so that was pretty much all in the first section.
I like how Ryan is reading off a script right now.
Oh, I have our editorial. No, it's helping me to remind me what we saw. So so we had that first section. Then the second section was kind of more business oriented. So we saw the PlayStation TV.
Me and Chris are just shaking our heads right now. You guys can't see that.
Yeah, this was
the middle of the Sony conference was presented by Carl Sagan because it was like our astronomical numbers for sharing.
It was the middle of the conference. The middle of the conference was a little slow and wasn't quite as interesting as the other parts. It was mostly business focused, so it was kind of like Sony's chance to gloat a little bit.
That was great.
It was them, chest thumping.
They were like, oh yeah, our PlayStation cameras done well. Oh, by the way, that was optional.
Oh,
there was the little jab at Microsoft in there.
Connect,
but then they also showed PlayStation TV, which will be coming out in the West, and it'll be a streaming device for $199, right? It was $100.
Yeah, all it is just the PlayStation Vita, but without the screen on it.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
I was talking to Ryan about this. I was like, can you tell me the difference between PlayStation Now and PlayStation TV?
Well, it's a device that'll probably work with PlayStation Now, I'm assuming.
Well, it has the remote play, right? Because it says it'll stream to another room.
That too,
that's what it is, But they serve the same function. You can play older games with these things, right?
Right, but you could use it with your Vita or something like that, so you could do remote play from, so if you, basically it gives you $100, PlayStation console that you can, just, use for, playing digital games on it.
I think the big thing was, I like the PlayStation Now on the Vita, some of the stuff they were showing. Like Tales of Borderlands is gonna work like that.
That's pretty crazy. You notice how the Vita, and I kind of knew this was gonna happen. They didn't talk too much about the Vita. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's a great peripheral for the PS4."
That's kind of its position now at this point because they can't release big games on it because they're gonna most of them are gonna 90% of them are gonna fail because there just aren't enough out there and they never sell well.
They just they're just kind of using it as the sister console. If you
have a PS4, you should get a Vita because
I mean, personally, I have both of them, and I do a lot of work on my desk, and it's always kind of cool to just take a couple seconds, you take your Vita, and you can play. Oh, you're playing Metal Gear, or you're playing whatever you got on your PlayStation.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, so I don't know about that. It's the whole thing about the whole PlayStation Now and the whole streaming thing. I want to know how. Is there going to be any delay with it? Lag.
So I'm in the PS3 beta for it. They've been the thing is it's still in beta, so they're still improving it and whatnot. But I think it's worked pretty well. There is a little bit of a noticeable delay, probably milliseconds at most. So there's a little bit of a delay, but I mean, until we get the full version of it out, to the public, then we won't know what it's like. But I think so far it's been working pretty well. So, but I think having that ability, especially when they announced that when they showed that the PlayStation Now will work with Bravia TVs, so all you really need is just a DualShock 3 controller, and you can play with it. So.
The other thing about the PlayStation TV is it comes with a DualShock 3 controller. You know how a lot of the PlayStation 4 games kind of use the second analog stick as your shoot button. I'm not looking forward to that. At least using a PS3 controller using PS4.
I know what you're saying. But I mean, if you're used to playing Rockstar games and you're Frank, they always have the triggers as their shooting buttons. That's fine. The other thing that they showed was they had Brian Michael Bendis was on stage to talk about powers. I was like, wait, that's the guy that writes the comic books.
Yeah,
the comic books I like. What's he doing up there?
Yeah, so they announced that they're going to be doing original TV series on PlayStation Network, and the first one's going to be Powers. Which is
I got excited because I like Powers. I've been waiting. I as recently as a month ago, I'm like, what happened to Powers? Because they were talking about, we got cash, we got this, we got that, and all of a sudden nothing. Then all of a sudden, hey, by the way, it's on PlayStation Network. Okay. I mean, PlayStation Network's had some stuff. Remember they had the tester. That's probably the first foray into TV.
This thing is probably the biggest of the.
It really easily is, and it reminds you of something else, doesn't it?
Hero.
No, not that. Yeah, Microsoft, they're doing a thing with Xbox Live.
Yeah, yes.
Well, that's the thing, is like I felt like the announcement mostly is like kind of a reaction to Microsoft. To try and like, because even though like Microsoft took a lot of flack last year, I felt like for focusing a lot of their conference on like all the other stuff other than gaming, like I felt like this wasn't as much, I felt like, but it still like kind of had like gave me a little bit of that vibe kind of them trying to reach out into other like forms of media.
I think this is huge for content creators, because I would love to see things go away from traditional TV, which I hate cable.
Yeah.
And I want to, and I love the fact that Netflix and Amazon are sponsoring their own shows and have their own content, and the sky's the limit in terms of creativity and whatever. So I applaud both Microsoft and Sony for doing this. Like bringing Powers there, that's huge. So I was happy. I don't care what anyone else says. This is huge on so many levels.
Yeah, because some people are complaining that's not huge. That doesn't mean anything. Like really,
because
that's like short sighted. You don't see how significant this is.
I think also for a lot of the people that are saying those sorts of things is that they're not familiar with Powers. Powers is kind of an independent book, even though it's written by Bendis, who's written a bunch of things that people have heard of. Like
Ultimate Spider-Man, of New Avengers, all that stuff. But that's what it is. But Powers is, I think that's a good show to bring, and it's definitely like up like geeky people's alley, so that'll be good.
I think having a name like Brian Michael Bendis, like someone like that, to attract people to the show is also like a good benefit.
And if that does well, they'll bring other stuff. I would look forward to 100 Bullets.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Also, the other thing that they said about it, which was really cool, was that. But to get people into it, the first episode's free. But if you have PlayStation Plus, you get the whole series for free.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. It's a nice benefit. Yeah, because I mean, like, things like that, I think will be nice benefits to PlayStation Plus if they add that. Especially because I mean, like PlayStation Now, they're not going to bring to PlayStation Plus. So
I definitely think that the PlayStation Now stuff is going to be like a different tier. It's like getting it's like getting the DVDs in Netflix.
Yeah, it's going to be its own. It's going to be its own separate service. So.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about some of the other games. Remember, you said it was in 3 stages, and then there was the third one.
Was there anything else in the middle part that we missed? I don't really think
so.
There was numbers. There was the TV.
Yeah.
He mentioned a little bit about the PlayStation Now, and a little bit about Vita.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on. So the last section was more game focused again. So they kind of revealed
War Elephants, the game.
Most of what they showed in the last section was stuff that was already revealed. So they showed Far Cry 4.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, Far Cry 4. I was a little skeptical of it, because like I really liked Far Cry 3 a lot. I didn't think 4 would be able to probably measure up to that. But the demo they showed was really fun.
It was
really cool. And War Elephants for the win.
I
feel like so. Elephant versus truck, and elephant wins.
I think
I
thought the flight suit was huge because it's not a glider. He's wearing his glider.
Well, that was in Far Cry 3. But it was really cool. Like I think the things like before, like when in the demo when they showed him being able to, so he was in the truck and he drove off a cliff and then jumped out and then glide. Like you weren't able to do that in Far Cry 3. So I think they're doing cool things with like movement and moving around the environment and stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool. So that was cool. I think just the demo in general was really impressive.
The big thing about that, which I think got everyone excited, was that you can have somebody join you in Far Cry 4 and they don't need the game.
Yeah. How are they going to pull that one off?
I don't know.
You probably need to install something.
Well, maybe something with download on your PS4, just like library files or something.
Wasn't there?
It could be. I think it could be a situation where it's something like on DS and 3DS where you can do the download play.
I was actually about to say.
Yeah, if you don't have a copy of the game, you can download like a demo of it, and then like you get limited access to like characters and things like that. Just as long as you're playing with someone, yeah. So it could be a situation like that where maybe like it lets you download, quote unquote download play to the PS4.
But I think that's brilliant because if you like it enough, like you'll.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's actually a pretty significant thing they're doing.
Because when I did that on DS and 3DS, like most of the games I ended up playing like that. Like I was like, wow, this is great. I want to go. I really liked playing that little bit of Mario Kart. I want to go buy it. So.
Yeah. I'll get into Far Cry 4, but if they say there's Far Cry 4, Blood Dragon 2, or something, I'll be like, yes, give it
like,
shit to me.
Give it to me now, man.
Yeah. That was great. They also showed what else? They showed Batman: Arkham Knight. They showed some.
Yes,
Oh
me
my
and Chris
God.
went nuts.
I think my eyes were bleeding through the whole.
Dude, they had that Batmobile strafes.
The Batmobile strafes and shoots things and goes like 300 miles an hour and shoots Batman across Gotham City.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Like, just give me that right now.
I mean, I think he flew faster out of the Batmobile than he did off that building.
Yeah, I think so, which is insane. Maybe
it was
the ejector
seat. Like a bullet.
Yeah, I thought the Arkham Knight, and then it was really cool too. Like, it was funny as like the trailer started glitching, and everyone thought that it was like something was wrong with it, but it was part of the trailer.
As soon as they kind of did like a weird smoke thing, like fire happening. I was like, oh, they're going to do something fun.
Yeah.
Because that's DLC that's coming exclusively to the PlayStation 4 version, isn't it?
I see, yeah. Is it, there was Scarecrow, right? That was included?
Yeah, that his nightmare levels.
Yeah.
Although, you notice what they did with Batman's fighting style, right? They have that 300 thing where it really slows down when he hits someone.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was really...
It was like...
That was really cool in the combat where they have those moments where you can kind of slow down and plan out your next move.
It really slows down. Like the free flow was good, but now that it has that ultra slow move and that it connects, it's like
it's crazy, man.
I noticed they're slowly but surely turning Batman into Iron Man. Like,
exactly.
Like they show his suit and it goes.
Soon he's gonna be wearing like a robot helmet and everything.
He's gonna shoot lasers out of his hands.
If you think about it, Arkham Knight does look like Iron Batman. Iron Man Batman.
Batman.
And then they also showed Mortal Kombat X. They showed,
that was pretty nuts. Like,
they showed the first gameplay for that, which was pretty cool.
Yo, man, let's break all the bones.
I don't know. It was like the traditional was like Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know,
some new characters.
Scorpion chick and Master Blaster.
Master Blaster.
Those were the two new characters they talked about. We're going to be showing.
Did they have names?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't catch them, but I know that
I saw a little guy, like big guy on top of little guy.
And I thought, I'm like, oh, it's Thunderdome. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And that Scorpion, or I won't say because they're a Scorpion. She's some bug chick. I don't know who she is.
B-girl.
Scorpion.
I don't know. She had a tail. She stung the.
I like the finishing.
The bone breaking shit. Oh my god, the X-rays. They went all out with the X-rays this time. I mean,
they're pretty gross.
And then the other really, really big reveal was for Uncharted 4: Thief's End at the very end of the show.
Well, before that, we got something that we all knew was going to come. Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PS4.
I had called this. I'm like, they are going to fucking come out and say there's GTA 5 next gen.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah.
Bam. And they did it.
The only thing, and then they announced that your progress and saves and whatnot from the PS3 and the 360
and
version.
The 360.
And the 360. And here's the question I want to pose to everybody because we're still unsure about this. Because they said, okay, your progress from the PS3 and 360 can go to your PS4, right? I wonder if it goes the other way around. Can you have your PS3 copy go to your Xbox One? Because it's all the cloud, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping that since everything in GTA Online is saving to Rockstar's cloud, shouldn't it just be consistent across everything?
It should be, and Sony never said exclude. This feature is only for PS4.
Well, that's the thing, was when they presented it, they made it sound like it was coming only to PS4 when they announced it. And that's what confused me, because I was like, wow, it's going only to PS4, but then I found out later it's going to PC and Xbox One.
Yeah.
So.
But see, that's the same thing. If I was playing on Xbox One, like, does that carry over? It's like all that work? No, I mean, between 360 and PS3, it doesn't.
Yeah. See, actually, it was funny as we were watching the trailer. For the first 10 seconds or so, I thought it was going to be GTA 5 episodes, that it was going to be like DLC for GTA 5, like episodes from Liberty City. Yeah. So I thought it would be DLC, but then as we were watching, I was like, oh, nope, this is GTA 5.
No, the instant I saw Trevor, I'm like, GTA 5, here we go.
Yeah.
Like the news that everybody knew about. Oh, yeah, and this is slightly backtracking a little bit. Speaking about games that we knew were coming, I'm surprised people didn't, more people know about this. Microsoft, they showed Tomb Raider, the next Tomb Raider. It's like, how did we not know this was coming? Rise of the Tomb Raider.
It was only a teaser trailer, but we know it's coming.
GTA, that's coming in July, isn't it?
I think it's the fall.
The fall, okay.
Yeah, it's the fall.
So it's exactly a year later, I guess.
Yeah.
I would originally, I said, I'm not going to buy this if they erase my online shit. They're not, so I will buy it again.
And then so just...
what about your single-player shit?
I'll do that again.
We're catching close on time, so we'll do that. So just to quickly run through a couple other things. So the big thing, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, which is coming next year, 2015.
Yeah, that game. It's interesting about that one. It's like a thief's end, and they kept talking about this was the last job. It's like. So is this the final Uncharted?
It didn't say. That's kind of the impression I got from it. Was it sounds like it's going to close out the Uncharted series, but we won't know for sure probably until later.
They could just close out Nathan Drake's story.
Yeah, it could be. They could pull.
Uncharted doesn't actually need to be.
They could pull a Metal Gear. Speaking of which, Metal Gear as well was also
Metal Gear, dude. That was great. Give me more of that. You know, it was just like a short little thing. I remember they said it was going to be 5 minutes. It was only like 2. I'm like, nah, come on, give me more.
Yeah,
but that was really good. But yeah, Uncharted. That was not gameplay at all. That was in game. That was in game. I don't think that was CG.
I think it was
probably in engine.
I think in
engine. Yeah, let's say that.
I think it was an in-engine trailer, but I don't think it was in game.
No, okay, yeah, let's say that it's in engine, but definitely not gameplay.
No,
but it looks good. Yeah, I remember when I first saw him, like, it looks like old Joel. Like, or young Joel. Like, how, you know, like Nathan. Joel looks like older Nathan Drake.
Right. Well, because I think, because Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley are going to be involved in this, right? I was going to say, it had shades of Last of Us, like, because it felt much darker than any of the other Uncharted games.
Did they change Sullivan's voice?
Sully's son.
No, it sounded like Sully.
I
didn't recognize him at first either,
Yeah, I know it was him, but
I think it was Sully after, like, a late night or something like that. Like, a little, like, tired.
Maybe that's what you're talking about, that darkness. Maybe he had to talk like that because some shit was going down.
Yeah,
you know?
It definitely seemed a lot more serious than like the other Uncharted. You know, versus like Uncharted 1 or 2, where it's like, hey, I'm Drake. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Let's go have some fun. I'm gonna have this Corona, and then we're gonna find some treasure. And now it's like, holy shit!
Imagine if they make an Uncharted on as emotionally heavy as like the last one. It's like, oh god,
oh my god, I don't know.
Everybody dies, man.
Damn.
And if it's a thief's end, maybe Nathan will die.
Yeah.
Tony, don't spoil it.
Yeah. Oh, and then one other thing just from the Sony conference that I really enjoyed was No Man's Sky. I thought No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky had a really awesome gameplay, like sort of trailer.
I don't know if anyone's out there is not impressed with what Hello Games has done with procedurally generated levels, then I don't think I think you need to go back to school. I honestly don't think you have a brain between your ears.
I thought it looked great though. Like it looked like I didn't really know too much about the game before, other than like seeing screenshots and stuff like that, and knowing it was procedurally generated. But seeing it, like zooming between the planets and then like going into space and then going back down to the planets, it was cool. It was really cool.
You didn't see the very first trailer where it was like you saw the thing come out of the water.
No, I didn't see that.
And then there was like animals, like okay, and then the spaceship, like that's cool. And then it's like let's go into space. I'm like, yes, give me this now. Yeah. And I heard like the team is like 5 dudes or something.
Yeah. Especially considering what they're showing and with how many people that they have on the game, it's really
I don't know how the hell it's like a small team, 5 guys doing this huge game, and like a huge team can't even do something like that.
And even if No Man's Sky doesn't turn out to be like, even if it's lackluster in terms of like when we finally get our hands on it, and it's like, it's okay. Just in terms of what they've done with technology.
Just as an achievement.
It's a huge leap in game design. That is a huge thing.
Yeah, it really is. All right, so we're coming up on time, so let's just wrap it up with what we thought about this year's E3. I thought it was okay, but it kind of seemed like they're stalling for the really good stuff that's coming next year.
I feel like even though like we all joked about like E3 2014 is delayed to 2015.
I think it really was.
Like, it felt like that at times. I think what was shown was cool. Like there was a lot of really like highlight stuff. But again, it's just like a lot of this stuff is still really early. So like we won't see it like until probably next year. So I feel like this is kind of the precursor to next year is going to be the big year. I think.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it really was delayed until 2015.
But there was some cool stuff there, like No Man's Sky and like a lot of this, like I said. So overall, like I enjoyed it. Even though
it was your first E3, man.
This is my first E3, so I think just getting to go was really cool. But seeing what was there was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. What about you guys? E3 thoughts?
I mean, it's not over yet. We still got the show floor.
If you think about it, 90% of E3 is the first day.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
So far,
we got Nintendo, but whatever.
So far, I'm cool with everything. But again, I agree with both of you guys. It feels like the calm. It still feels a little like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the storm to roll in.
Next year's E3 will be.
We're still boarding up windows, and they're saying the storm is coming.
Yeah.
And we're
pretty much.
Yeah. No, I think there was some good reveals.
Oh yeah, definitely
good reveals. I think the storm has started. I think it will just get louder.
I'm a little wet.
Yeah, it's like the pre-bit of the storm. It's like
and
the wind is coming up a little bit.
I definitely give kudos to everyone. Microsoft really knocked it out of the park compared to last year, so good for them. And Sony showed some great shit. EA, besides the sports stuff, was nice.
Yeah,
nice. And you know, for Ubisoft, I give it up for Far Cry 4. I give it up.
Yeah,
Out of everything they showed, I know you guys like Assassin's Creed, but that I know Ryan, you're with me.
Yeah,
I'm excited for War Elephant.
I think Far Cry 4 was definitely one of my pleasant surprises. Like I was really happy to see that.
I think they should call it Far Cry War Elephants.
Far Cry.
Yeah, I was gonna say elephants for the win this E3. Like I think like last year was like the year of the bow. I think this year is like the year of the elephant.
Of the elephant.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thanks for listening to another episode of the DualShockers ShockCast. I guess this was a semi-special show. It's not on video, but you know we do the best what we have. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and SoundCloud on Dual. You know, it's just DualShockers. So once again, thank you to Ryan Meisler.
Goodbye, everyone, and see you at next year's E3, hopefully. Yeah, I'm still a conceptual prototype, but you know I'll be there next year.
All right, Chris Seeley.
Hey guys, take care.
Emilio Lopez.
Later, guys.
And me, we'll see you next time, guys. Keep watching E3 stuff. Later.